Guys, just doing a kind of an unboxing, even though I already opened the box. This is the Apostolic Bible Polyglot, Greek English Interlinear, Alpha version, the Old and the New Testament, Apostolic Press. This is from apostolicbible.com. And it's not apostolic as related to the denomination that calls themselves apostolic. It's called the Apostolic Bible, as he says in here, because this is more akin to what the apostles would have used, since when they're quoting Old Testament texts, they typically quote texts that line up with the Septuagint. And I would say always, but there are some variants in the Septuagint as well. For example, let me show you this. In Psalm chapter 40, verse 6, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire, mine ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, I delight to do thy will, O God. This is quoted in the book of Hebrews chapter 10. But in the Old Testament that we have in our English Bible, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire, mine ears hast thou opened. But if you look where it's quoted in the book of Hebrews chapter 10, it doesn't say mine ears hast thou opened. It says, but a body hast thou prepared me. Okay. And that's different than what we read. Let me find this. That's different than what we read. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he says, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. It doesn't say mine ears hast thou opened, but a body hast thou prepared me. And burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast had no pleasure. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O God. So here is an example where the author of Hebrews is quoting an Old Testament text, and the reading is in line with what we find in the Septuagint, but not in line with what we find in our, let me find this in the Septuagint, not in line with what we find in our English Bibles today. And it doesn't mean that you can't read the English Bibles and have a good understanding, but there are some differences in the Septuagint. Now, the Septuagint was translated in the 3rd century BC, around 250 BC, and from the Hebrew text into the Greek text. So it represents an old Hebrew text, but it is a Greek translation thereof. So we don't have Hebrew texts that are from 250 BC. So if you assume that it's translated accurately, then you have a representation of a Hebrew text from that time. You know what I'm saying? A representation, but in translated form from that time. But either way, this is what the apostles would quote from. So Psalm 40, verse 6, as we go into the Septuagint here, okay, let's see. A sacrifice and offering you wanted not, but a body you readied me. Okay. Where did it go? Oh, I skipped it. Sorry, I'm doing this through my phone. A body you prepared for me. It's in the dative, so for me. But a body you prepared for me. You readied me. So it says a body here. Okay. It doesn't say mine ears hast thou opened like we read in the English version. It says a body hast thou prepared me like we read in Hebrews 10 and 5. So the Septuagint definitely has a place in our biblical studies. And this is a monumental work. This is an entire Bible containing the Greek Old Testament and New Testament. Okay, so it has the New Testament as well. Now, it is not a critical edition. Again, it's not a critical edition. So although he does have some notes at the bottom, it's basically, from what I see, akin to the Textus Receptus. So it's not a critical edition in either the New Testament or the Old Testament. But he does have examples like this where he says, see Bose for variance. Now, Bose, Lambert Bose, excuse the grease on my fingernails, Lambert Bose, that Septuagint has variance at the bottom, the different readings in different versions of the Septuagint. And that's where, on their website, I believe it's apostolicbible.com, that's where you can get this from, the Apostolic Bible Polyglot flash drive edition. Let's see. Apostolic Press. Well, this has the Lambert Bose Septuagint. That's what LXX stands for. It's the Roman numerals for 70 translators. The 1709 Lambert Bose edition is on this, but they don't have it in print form. And this is just, this comes with it. These are just little handouts. You just tear them out and hand them out to give people information about the Septuagint. But he'll have these in here, the see Bose for variance, where he was telling you that there are significant variants in the reading in these particular verses. So absolutely phenomenal work, an interlinear of the Old Testament and the New Testament together, the Old Testament being the text of the Septuagint. Okay, so he's got the Strong's Concordance numbers in here connected to each word, and then he'll have when you see the point with a number behind it, well, he's indicating there that this particular word is not covered in the Strong's Concordance in its precise form, but he does the 0.8, etc. I haven't seen one with 0.8 and 0.3, so that's kind of new to me. But he does these with the points in them to show you that he does have this listed in his concordance back here. And this is another thing that makes this Apostolic Bible Polyglot so monumental. It has it included in its text. It has its own lexical concordance where you can look up these Greek words, and you can see the verses that they're used in. If it's in bold, that means this is the way that it is presented in this book. If it's not in bold, that's just a expanded definition, but it's not the way that he translates the word in the book. So that's pretty handy. And he gives all the places where these words are listed. Now, he doesn't list every word. It's not exhaustive per se, but by and large it is. I'm kind of blown away by this work. It's very, very monumental work. Very monumental work. And right here, it says, the following 50 Greek words appear extensively throughout the Greek text of the Apostolic Bible, and they are termed far and wide and do not have the books, chapters, and verses listed. So he lists these words here, which are used over and over and over and over again in the Septuagint. And so he said that he didn't list the verses where these appeared in the Septuagint. But I can deduct from that he is listing everything else. So that's pretty exhaustive, because these are just, words that, they're very common words in the Greek. And if you study the Greek, you'll know these words. So very, very exhaustive work back here in this concordance that just comes with the Bible. And you can see how it has the numbers beside the Greek words. So these are the strong numbers, but again, when it has the 0.1, this is in addition to the Strong's Concordance. So if it doesn't have the point like this, well, when you go to the Strong's Concordance, then you'll see this word. But since there are words that appear in the Septuagint that do not appear in the New Testament, then there needed to be words added to what the Strong's Concordance has, and that's where the points come in. So if it's a word added, or a word in addition to the New Testament text that is contained in the Old Testament, then you'll have the 0.1, and he just slides it in there in between the, where it would fit according to the spelling of it, I'm assuming. Awesome addition to what a study book. I mean, you got a concordance in the back, and not just a regular concordance. I mean, it's got definitions in all the places these words are listed, tied into the Strong's concordance numbers. It also has this English Greek index where he has English words. These are English words that are used inside the Apostolic Bible Polyglot for translation purposes. And then he'll have like all the Greek words that tie into that. Die. It's translated from this word. Sometimes they'll have multiple words underneath one listing. And if I recall correctly, I just got these. I haven't had these long. Like here. Where are we at here? So he'll have multiple words under one listing. But he translated both of these words as this in the Apostolic Bible Polyglot, is how I understand that. So he's giving you a way where you can find the English words and find out what all words he translated as that English word. Very, very awesome work. Again, it's not a critical text, but for just general study purposes, I mean, and it doesn't have to be a critical text. I mean, most Bibles aren't critical text, but he does give you references when he thinks a critical examination is needed, and they have resources on the website to where you can investigate various readings. Awesome work. The quality of these books is phenomenal. I mean, I bought this one. This is the leather one for just use, for daily use, and a very nice edition. I guess I'll show that because a lot of people interested in these probably are looking at these leather ones. Now they do have imitation leather in a really beautiful ebony. It's like a ebony color, very dark, beautiful ebony color. And then they have a kind of a red looking one, an orangish red, probably more like this color. That's also imitation. But they look super nice. This one was a little bit more because it's actual leather. But man, the quality of these Bibles is very phenomenal. These are some of the nicest Bibles that you can get, man. I have local church publisher Bibles, and they're super nice, and this is on par with that. I don't know if it's Smythe sewn or Smith sewn. I don't know. I thought about emailing them and asking them, but I'm assuming it is, just because of all the quality that has, all the workmanship that has gone into these. But I don't know that for sure. I would assume it is. So it has its introduction, the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. I like this. He just put Amazing Grace at the top. And Charles Vanderpool is a layman, according to what I found. He's not an academic, so it took him 30 years to do this. Now, 30 years of working on something makes you an academic by default, but he doesn't have a lot of letters behind his name, is my understanding. And to God be the glory, and he gives God the glory. He says somebody interviewed him and asked him, basically how he accomplished such a major work, and he said it's God did it. He compared himself to an oven. He said God wanted to make Apostolic Bible Polyglot, and he put it in the oven, and 30 years later, out popped the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. So he just compares himself to an oven. I thought it was a neat way to give glory to God. So he's giving God the glory for this, and what a great monumental work. What a great monumental work, man. We don't have these. Where is an interlinear Septuagint? We don't have these. Like, I have the Septuaginta by Hendrickson, which is a 2-volume reader's edition of the Septuagint. It's not an interlinear. It's a very nice edition. I have the Septuagint by Hendrickson, translated by Sir Lancelot C.L. Britton, and it has a corresponding English text beside it, but it's not an interlinear. This has the Old and New Testament, so this is a Bible. This is a Bible containing the canonical books. It is an interlinear, And above that, it has the concordance in the back, which makes it quite awesome, actually. Oh, man, what a great book. I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Highly recommend it. Not a whole lot of... There is space in the margin. There is space in the margins if you want to make notes. It's not a wide margin by any means. It doesn't need to be. It would make it too wide, honestly, because it's already somewhat wide book. But a very beautiful book. But the text is very well done. Excellent quality book. It's got different colored bookmarks for the different versions. This one has the black and the silver. The hardback does not have bookmarks, but the other versions do. And the other versions will also come in a bag like this. This one, I don't know why the eye is red on there. I looked on the website and they all have different colored eyes for some reason. This is what came with this one. If I still have all the stuff in here. It also came with a little papyrus bookmark, which I thought was neat. Here you go. This is actual papyrus bookmark. And on the website, they have bookmarks, goat skin or papyrus. So a little leather bookmark or papyrus bookmark. And on the website, they have them with the Greek alphabet written on there and pronunciation helps on there. Handwritten. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Just a little pamphlet that comes with it talking about the Apostolic Bible Polyglot. See, there you have the, I think this is the, yeah, that would be the, I suppose, the ebony edition. And this would be the red edition I was telling you about. Beautiful books, man. Beautiful books. And the website is here. apostolicbible.com. And that's not the denomination, the apostolic denomination. This is tied into the Bible that the apostles used. Okay, so study guide, and again the laminate table of contents, which I don't see this as necessary. I guess it could help people who aren't familiar with the order of the books. But I don't know. Does that even have a table of contents in the front? Huh. I guess he doesn't have the table of contents. Let me look before I speak too soon. And there's apparently a first edition and a second edition. The second edition has some corrections in it. The Greek alphabet. That's pretty much what you'll find on those bookmarks I was telling you about. So yeah, so he doesn't have the table of contents. So I see why they included that. It doesn't have the table of contents in the Septuagint. So that's why these are included for people that want a table of contents. Very, very wonderful, monumental editions. This is going on the bookshelf. I wanted another one for the bookshelf. There was a hardback. After seeing the magnitude, the what this is a great addition to your. I mean, this could be used as a Bible itself. It is a Bible. It is just the Septuagint and the New Testament Greek text. So there you go. I hope this has been a help. I just wanted to do a video on this Apostolic Bible Polyglot. Because it merits it, definitely merits it, and I just didn't see a lot of the books don't start on new pages. I've noticed that, so it'll just go right into a new book, which is fine. I mean, it saves space. There's nothing wrong with that. It has the Greek on one side and the English on the other side. Verse references are in the middle. Page numbers outside. Just a great, see, there you go. So it starts Colossians, it just goes right into it. Very beautiful book. Very useful for study for people that are learning Greek, especially for your vocabulary. because as you're reading the Greek, you can just get the definitions. So as you're reading, you just get definitions below it to help to boost your vocabulary, refresh your vocabulary. Absolutely great for people. People, you have to have this, and I'm not connected with these people at all. I emailed them because I was asking them about they have another analytical lexicon that he talks about in here, and he says it's on the website, but I could not find it on the website, and so I emailed them about it. Um, I don't remember exactly where he was talking about it, but it was an analytical lexicon where you can see the different variants of the words themselves, and so the different forms they take in cases and all that. And so I wanted that as well, but he said they're not being published right now. But that is in this flash drive that you can order as well. But I wanted that. So anyway, I forgot where I was going with that. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Oh yeah, that's what the correspondence was. I asked them about that in an email, and that's the only correspondence I got. So I'm not connected with these guys, but the work speaks for itself. It is a work for the kingdom, and highly, highly recommend. Highly recommend.